Yo, speaking of which, did you see Young Thug get slipped a perk while in prison? Or while in the courtroom?
You think he got set up with that?
No.
There's no way.
I think his friend, co-defendant, is just that big of an idiot.
I mean, like, insane.
They know he's suffering. Like, he's going through withdrawal. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
But how long does withdrawal last?
I mean, he's probably still getting it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he's still young with that.
Right.
And he's probably in holding in some, like jail or something. It's so easy to get drugs in there. They're all doing drugs if you want it. But if anyone didn't see the video, this is basically it. So co-defendant pulls up. They're like taking a recess or a break in the courtroom. And it's just so obvious. Like, here you go. Bailiff walks up and just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I know. Like, I don't get why he thought that was going to fly.
Gets immediately caught. He goes and grabs the other guy and then...
Yo, is this Young Thug's fault? I think you can only punish the co-defendant here because there's no proof that Young Thug asked for the perk. He just gave a 5 to his boy and his boy put something in his hand.
That's what his lawyer said immediately after.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he didn't ask for this. He thought he was just saying hello or some shit like that.
He doesn't do drugs.
He didn't even know what he gave him.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to necessarily reflect on him, but his co-defendant's going to get screwed.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Maybe this is a dumb question. If people accuse you of being like the head of a gang and you're like, no, I'm not, and then a guy walks up to you and hands you drugs as like the boss, doesn't that in some way, it's circumstantial, but am I not looking on as a juror like, that motherfucker's the head of a gang?
Maybe. I think you can get out of that. Like, how many people do perks that aren't the head of a gang? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, like, how many people in jail are doing some form of drugs?
No,
like,
it's not about doing the drugs. It's about the guy walking up to you in court and handing it to you. Like,
I mean,
that's where I'm like, that's some bullshit.
You
to
could
me.
be friends and not be.
Yeah.
Like,
I understand what Akaash is
friend
saying.
wants
Like,
drugs.
that's the type of power that you could make somebody do something that's stupid and they would
risky.
have to
And that's
do
the kind of, yeah, if you're that powerful, someone would, that risky is the best word.
I think
someone would take that risk of like, yeah, I'm gonna slide him, I'll curry favor with him, I'll get in on his good side, whatever. To me, I'd start looking at him like, you might be the head of a gang.
Yeah.
Because no friend is doing that for another friend.
I don't think anybody at this
Like
point
that.
also disputes whether he is the head of a gang, right? Like, that's what they've been... I mean, they've been claiming it in music for fucking ever. So it's like, I understand you can't use the music to prove it, but I don't think there's any issue whether he's the head of the gang. I think now it's like, are you going to hit them with the RICO, or are you going to say that he actually called the shots and then the people died? Right? Because I think the RICO, you could hit him, but it's not going to be as long as actual murder.
Yeah.
So...
it's not looking good for Thug.
It ain't, right? Is he about to take the whole thing for everybody?
I wonder I don't get what their defense is. Because it's like, he still hasn't spoken out to say whether or not he's okay with all the other people taking a plea. So it's like, until he speaks out, like, we don't know whether or not, like, he wants this to happen or not. Like, he might just be taking the whole thing.
Yo,
Put it all on him.
what if they said this to him? What if they said, yo, you gonna get the same time no matter what? I'm gonna give a hypothetical, you tell me if it's ridiculous. What if they said, look, you're gonna get the same time no matter what? Whether Gunna and the other guys are involved in this case or not, if you are found guilty, you're gonna get the same time. If these guys plea out, the way that their pleas are structured is they're not gonna use their testimony against you. They're not gonna be brought back in to testify, nothing. They're just pleading out, I think is the case, right?
Yeah.
In its current, I believe it's something like
they
that.
took a plea, but part of the plea agreement was that they had to admit that they were a part of the gang and they were involved in some nefarious activities.
Right. So,
But nothing involving Thug.
No.
Okay.
so what if the dude is like, look, all these guys, you can't get off. Nobody's offering you a plea. You're the fucking OG. Like, there's no offer for you. Every one of your boys has an offer. And it doesn't really hurt you if they take that offer. It doesn't change your chances. What you can do is get all your people off, and it doesn't incriminate you in any way, and it doesn't, or any more than you're already incriminated, and you still have the same 50-50 chance of beating this, or 70-30 chance of beating this, etc. What if him as an OG just goes, tell the motherfuckers to get off?
That could be the case, but he
can't say that now because, you know what I'm saying? Like,
then the prosecutors will look at it like, oh, word? Okay, now we're going to throw the book at you. That could be it. Because it is weird that he hasn't said anything, and he knows that his silence is hurting Gunner right now. By him staying silent, like everybody's debating whether Gunner's a snitch or not.
Exactly.
And they're leaning heavily toward the is side.
Yeah.
100%. People unfollowing him, the whole thing, like.
Because what he did is snitching.
It's snitching.
It's exactly snitching.
But if he's basically told, like, yo, you got a 70-30 chance, like 70% guilty, 30% not guilty. And it's just like, and that's not going to change if these motherfuckers get out. And your time ain't going to change if these motherfuckers get out.
They get out, they can hold down your family, they can do X, Y, Z.
I just wonder, and if that 30, if he gets out, if he gets off from this, if it's the 30 works out for whatever fucking reason, and then he gets out, like, he is the OG of OGs.
Oh,
that's why I feel like
you took care of all your boys.
Yeah.
And you get to say, nah, they were gonna ride with me, and I said, no, go out there and hit the streets. This is the responsibility of being the fucking OG, the capo, or not the capo, the Don or whatever it is. Then all of them are street qualified again because they just did what the top dog told them to do. The crew is the biggest crew in fucking rap because they beat the charges. Yeah. Maybe he's looking at it almost on some like, I got to roll the dice and then I'm the top dog.
Yeah.
Because if they get off on this, who's bigger in rap on some street shit?
Does Gunna snitching not affect him at all?
If he's told to snitch by Thug, I don't think it is. And Thug comes out and says, we told him to do it, and it was how we played the case.
And so and everybody, of course, no one really knows all the details, but there were certain things that he said during the plea where it was just like, oh, were you in the car with Young Thug while this crime happened? And he said, yes. So people were like, hey, you're snitching on Thug. But then I heard that they can't use anything said in the plea agreement. They can't force those people to testify for anything that was said in the plea agreement. So even if they call Gunner to the stand for Thug's trial, he can just plead the fifth because he'd be incriminating himself if he admits everything. So if they all just plead the fifth, then I don't know what case the prosecution has except the stuff that they have like hard evidence on.
But I don't get why the DA is just like giving everyone plea deals to not try to, like normally if you give someone a plea deal, you're trying to use them to get someone.
That's what I don't understand too.
So I don't get why the DA isn't like, it would look so good for them to say, hey, we got all these gangsters off the street, all these criminals, these guys are killing people, selling drugs, and we got all of them off the street.
They can still say that, look, all of these people admitted that this was a gang. And that's the basis of the RICO. It's like, hey, he's the head of it. All these people confirm that this is a gang, so that's all my proof.
But if you're the mayor of Atlanta or
snitching.
Whatever, it just...
But that's what I'm saying. This is snitching.
Right, so, but like, as long as if that's all they want is for them to corroborate that it's a gang, even if they take the plea deal, they're still fucking Gunna or still fucking Thug over because they're saying it's a gang.
That would be a pretty generous plea offer, I think is what he's saying, right?
Yeah.
That'd be a very generous plea deal. Like if you're Atlanta and everybody gets off, it's so fucking embarrassing for you.
No. They're not getting off. When you take a plea, that's a win for the prosecution.
Right, because they don't have to put the
wins.
resources into getting
it. Just
it.
don't have to.
But how long? What are they getting? Are they getting jail time, parole?
Yeah.
I think parole for a long time. Yeah. But it's like that's a win in the prosecution side.
Yeah, that's an important thing. How you look at it, you've got admission of guilt, and you didn't have to go through an expensive trial. So like the city or the state saves money, and they get to look at their record and be like, see, we got all these thugs to go snitch on their boy.
Yeah, I guess I was looking court of public opinion. I would think, I
think court of public opinion. You're right. I don't think it looks like they just got off.
It looks like Atlanta's like fucking madness. And that's what Ak was kind of saying here is the crime is up everywhere and the easy target is the guys that are saying they commit crime on record. So let's just go after them. But if they get off, now you're still looking at Atlanta like, yo, Atlanta, crime has gone up and those guys are back on the street. DA can't prosecute nobody.
You just can't look at it that way because one, they're not getting off. Two, now they're on probation, so they're going to be on their best behavior.
If I'm the mayor,
and so
I'm not looking at it. I'm putting pressure on, and I don't know if this makes any difference. I'm putting pressure on for you to lock these motherfuckers up. I'm not thinking about what you think is a win. I'm thinking about what gets me reelected and what makes Atlanta look better in the eyes of the country. So I'm not trying to let all these guys off because, they admitted it's a gang. The gang is free. So what the fuck are we gonna do about it?
But then if they have to try all these cases individually.
Your job isn't, sorry to interrupt you, but your job isn't motivated by what makes Atlanta look better in the country. Your job is motivated by conviction rate.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's just like, oh, we got these people to admit guilt. Now I get 4 more check boxes over here. And then when I go for re-election or I have to go in front of the mayor and say, look what my percentages are, I got 80% this.
You don't care what LA thinks, you care about
but brought down this criminal organization.
So, sorry,
That's what she just
last
wants.
piece of pushback, because I'm not super dug into this position. I'm playing devil's advocate more so. But if I'm voting for a DA, I'm going to go off my opinion and what the public opinion is as opposed to conviction record, right? DA's elected, right?
I thought DA is appointed by the mayor.
No. I think it's elected.
If it's elected, then I'm not voting for the
DA is
person.
elected.
Yeah, DA's elected.
Yeah.
George Soros is ruining our country.
So that,
Sorry.
so that's a very good point too.
Yeah.
I think it's elected.
Yeah.
So, and even the mayor also, even if the mayor appointed you and I'm the mayor, I'd be like, well, lock these motherfuckers up because I don't care what your conviction rate is. If we look foolish, if you make us look foolish, I'm replacing you.
Great point too.
Yeah. But it just, think about it, if they have to try all these cases, then we're going to be waiting years before you get convictions. And now it's like, look, you locked all these people up, not a single conviction yet, because we're waiting. Like, Doug's trial probably won't be done until
My
maybe
suspicion
late
is
next year or
that
something.
there wasn't much evidence to really pin Gunna to anything real. That's what I think.
Or
I think he was
anything substantial.
yeah, I think he was like around, and I'm sure a bunch of the other music guys were like around.
But you can
maybe.
fuck with their heads and be like, yo, we know what we got on you, we got everything, and your boy is gonna snitch.
Yeah, that's the real shit.
Yeah.
But maybe they were tight enough to know that nobody was going to fucking snitch.
Yeah. That's the thing. Luckily, they still had money, so they got decent lawyers, and I'm pretty sure all the lawyers are in coats.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe.
I mean, we're going to see what happens.
Also, it seems like some DAs are elected and some are appointed. I don't know. I don't have time to figure that out.